Jackin had been tricked, and the realization left me shaking my head in disbelief. He had been too trusting of his cousin, which made the betrayal all the more frustrating. I couldn't help but sigh. Families belonging to the higher echelon always seemed to thrive on endless drama. It was nothing like the peaceful, simple life I came from. For 9 generations, my family had been blessed with only a single child. Then came me and my brother, breaking the streak. As the eldest, Curse naturally inherited the role of family head. Not that I minded. I had zero interest in shouldering those responsibilities. I was more than happy to take the backseat, spending money while Curse dealt with the hard work. That night, seeing I was worn out, Curse told our father, the alpha, that we'd head home early. Dad didn't protest. He gave me one of his usual warm hugs, then firmly reminded Curse to drive carefully before letting us go. The drive back was quiet. I stared out the window, watching the glowing lights of shops and buildings blur past. The calm was interrupted by the sudden ring of Curse's phone. I glanced at the screen. Damien's name flashed on it. Curse, focused on navigating a turn, handed me the phone and asked me to answer it. I hesitated, but eventually put it on the speaker. Damien's voice came through, urgent and strained. Curse, is Tulia back yet? Curse's brows lifted slightly in surprise. He gave me a quick sidelong glance before replying, "Yeah, she's back. How'd you know?" There was a pause before Damien said, "Can I talk to her?" Just for a moment. Curse looked puzzled, glancing at me again, his expression asking silent questions. I hadn't told Curse about my years with Damien, or that he was the reason I'd come home. Curse hadn't pried so far, though I knew he suspected something. "Why do you want to talk to her?" Curse asked, his tone sharp now. "Please, Curse. Just let me speak to her," Damien said, his voice unusually soft, almost pleading. Curse's fingers tapped against the steering wheel as he mulled it over. "Fine, she's here. Talk." "Tulia," Damien said hesitantly, "could we speak alone?" The intimacy in his voice made Curse's expression harden. His protective instincts kicked in immediately. "What's so private that I can't hear?" Curse's voice was low and challenging. "Actually, I think we should talk about Kaya. Didn't she just return to your pack? Looks like you're finally getting the chance to win her back." Damien sighed audibly. "Kaya's in the past, Cursed. I'm not trying to win her back." "Right," Curse said sarcastically. "Sure." There was silence for a moment before Damien's voice returned, softer now. "Tulio, please. Just a few minutes. I need to explain something to you." Curse slammed on the brakes, pulling the car to a sharp stop on the side of the road. "That's enough," he snapped. "Damien, I don't know what's going on, but you need to back off. I've treated you like a brother all these years. Don't ruin it by dragging my sister into whatever mess you're in." Without waiting for a reply, he hung up and tossed the phone into the console, ignoring the repeated calls that followed. Curse turned to me, his frown deepening. "What's going on between you two? I thought you barely knew him." I sighed, realizing there was no avoiding the truth anymore. Slowly, I explained everything. The years I'd spent with Damien, the secrets, and the heartbreak that brought me back home. When I finished, Curse's face was flushed with anger, his hands clenched into fists. Then, after a moment, his expression softened and he pulled me into a hug. "It's not your fault," he murmured. "I just made a poor choice in friends. I should have warned you about Kaya. You wouldn't have fallen so deep into this if I had." I shook my head, my voice barely above a whisper. "No, I was the foolish one. After all those years of him hiding me from his world, I should have known better." Curse ruffled my hair, a rare gesture of affection. "Don't worry. Things will be better now. Jackin's a good guy. I'd trust him with my life." I thought that would be the end of it. Damien was proud, and after Curse's outburst, I doubted he'd ever show his face again. But the next morning, while we were gathered for breakfast, a servant announced someone was at the door asking for me by name. When I stepped outside, there he was, Damien. He stood tall, dressed in the suit I once told him was my favorite. A bouquet of roses was clutched in his hands, and his smile was warm, almost apologetic. "Tulia," he began, his voice low, "I've thought about everything. I was wrong to hurt you and to act the way I did." I said nothing. He stepped closer, his eyes pleading. "Please go back with me, Tulia. I am bringing you back to our home." I stared at Damien, startled by his sudden appearance. I hadn't told him anything about our packed lands. Yet here he was. How had he even found me? He must have paid someone to get the information. Was that why he called last night? But wondering about his methods wouldn't change the situation. "Why should I go back with you?" I asked, giving him a confused look. "This is where I live." "Of course you did, Tulia. But this is your parents' house. It is different from us." I nodded in understanding, which also made him smile. He reached out, his hand still holding the bouquet. I accepted it, but instead of reeling in with the sweetness like usual, I threw it to the side. I made sure to throw it harshly, untangling the ribbon tying it together. "Of course it is different from us," I said, chuckling, as I looked at his paling face. "This place is where I belong, where everyone loves me. While in our house, know your Dan. Is it really for me, Damien?" "Tulia, what?" Are you talking about? He fidgetingly stepped forward wanting to touch my hand, but I took a step back. Stop avoiding me. I am tired, Damien, I said. My expression is almost about to break. I know you know what I mean. Don't play dumb on me. His feelings for Kaya had always been glaringly obvious, clear as the full moon on a cloudless night. Anyone who cared to look could see it. Even his closest friends would joke about their connection despite knowing that I was supposed to be his mate. They would casually call me a stand-in, a substitute, as if it were nothing. At first it didn't bother me. Damien still showed me affection, and I told myself it didn't matter if his gestures were meant for someone else. After all, I was the one by his side, the one benefiting from his care and attention. But then Kaya returned, and with her presence Damien's focus shifted so naturally, so completely that it left no room for doubt. Kaya was his true north, the one his heart instinctively sought out. So why was he here? Now that Kaya was back, wouldn't letting me go be the easiest choice for him? Why chase me across foreign borders, refusing to let me move on? Tulia, he began, his voice trembling slightly. You got it all wrong. Kaya is just a friend of mine, nothing else. Sure you guys are. I shook my head, feeling tired. Let's just break up now. Let's part ways peacefully. I turned around about to get inside, but he forced his way and took my hand to pull me back. I could feel both of his hands trembling, feeling the sweat soaking in his clothes. From the looks I could tell that he is worried. I would feel happy if it was before, but what is its use now? Maybe today he would kneel in front me begging, but the next day he may be in Kaya's den again, spending the nights doing whatever they want. I don't want to live a life like that. I don't want to be neglected like a rag. Taking a deep breath, I continued, "I'm getting married, Damien." His head snapped up, his eyes wide with disbelief. "My parents found me a mate, someone who is noble and worthy of my status. So please don't come looking for me again. Let me go." "No." The word came out like a growl, raw and unrestrained. Damien grabbed my wrists. His grip was firm, almost desperate. "Tulia, I already apologized and told you I was wrong," he pleaded, his voice breaking. "I could not live without you." Tears shimmered in his eyes as he continued, "These past few days have been unbearable. I couldn't eat, couldn't sleep. I even called your brother in the middle of the night begging to know where you were. I was going insane, not knowing if I'd lost you forever. Please," he whispered, his voice hoarse. "After everything we've shared all those years together, can you really just walk away?" I let out a bitter laugh, shaking my head. "Damien, those 7 years, ask yourself, while I was by your side, who were you thinking about? When you looked at me, who did you really see?" I pulled my hands free from his grip, feeling a deep disgust churn in my stomach. As I packed my things before leaving him, I began to notice the little details I had overlooked for years. Almost everything he had chosen for me, clothes, jewelry, even my hairstyle, echoed Kaya's taste. I had never looked like her, but I resembled her just enough for him to mold me into her shadow. The realization hit like a punch to the gut, but it also solidified my resolve. Finally, I managed to step back, shaking off Damien's grasp entirely. My movement was too forceful and I stumbled, losing my balance. Just as I was about to hit the ground, a strong hand caught me.